Ladies and gentlemen, we're live just outside of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The greatest spectacle in racing, aka the Indianapolis 500, is this weekend. Welcome to Dalescenter. I'm your host, Dale Tanhart. It is so awesome to be here right now on the edge of Georgetown, just outside of Main Street. You can see the track to my left. I guess it's going to be to your right. I don't fucking know. But we're here. We're live just outside of IMS. And we've got bets to cover. Look, if you followed the truck card last night, you won. And we got to give a big time shout out to our guy, Dean Thompson. Dean motherfucking Thompson. This kid, 30-1 for a top 3, 11-1 for a top 5. The most unlikeliest of saviors for Truck Night in America last night. Carson Hocevar was the rocket. He was the guy that should have won the race. It didn't happen, but we found a way to profit, regardless of our outrights not hitting. This is great timing for this whatever the fuck truck to just pull up here. What the fuck is that? That thing is so goddamn loud. That's fucking louder than a Gen 7 race car. It's like a fucking floor scrubbing machine for the road. Anyway, you're going to see cars pulling up left and right here, live on Dalescenter. TikTok, you're not going to be able to hear me well, especially right now. Because we got a fucking floor scrubbing machine driving up, scrubbing the road for whatever the fuck reason. And oh my God, I don't even know. You may not be able to tell how loud it is. But it's some kind of loud. Anyway, let's get right into it. It is the greatest weekend in motorsports. We did have Truck Night in America. It was a success, but we can do better. We had the Xfinity Series today. Look, Kyle Busch is in it. Ty Gibbs is in it. The lines stink. They fucking blow. The lines for the Xfinity Series race at Charlotte. I don't know how to handle it. I got one big bet later in the program that I'm going to tell you guys about. You have Monaco in the morning. It's not really a race. Monaco is just Netflix and yachts. That's what we know. Monaco is Netflix and yachts. Pretty cool. Pretty badass. I'd love to be there. But it's not really a race. It's just Netflix and yachts. That's what it is. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. That's what Monaco is. 6 a.m. tomorrow. Central Time, Eastern Time. I don't know. I'm going to be too hungover to watch it. I'm here for the Indy 500, obviously. And then the cherry on top is the CocaCola 600. Could be a complete crapshoot like it was last year. Don't think it'll be that crazy. I have a few leans that I like in the Coca-Cola 600. Hopefully you listen to Sirius XM Radio, NASCAR Channel 90. Me and Garage Guy Chase came on with Chocolate Myers and John Roberts, the legends, and talk some NASCAR bets for the Coke 600. I'm going to follow up with some of those bets I gave with a couple more that I like today here on Dalescenter. You're going to see live on TikTok. And if you want to see the legit broadcast, the good-looking broadcast, head over to YouTube, Garage Guys NASCAR Podcast. This should be out before the Xfinity Series race. Looks like it's raining all weekend in Charlotte. If you're out there, that sucks. I'm sorry because it's just absolutely gorgeous out here in Speedway, Indiana, right outside of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's going to be a great time. I think NASCAR, we're going to be racing on Monday. We shall see. Don't think we get qualifying in. Xfinity is going to be borderline, but the radar looks bad. So, I mentioned Xfinity, and then I mentioned Monaco, right? Yes, Monaco is not a race. It is Netflix and yachts. We know this. But you can bet on it, right? It makes it more fun to bet on because it's going to be a fucking boring-ass race. Let's just be honest. That's what it is. That's what Monaco is. That's Netflix's crown jewel, is Monaco. While Indy's crown jewel is the greatest motorsport event on planet Earth, and it's not even close. But I do have a contributor here to talk. He's been on the show before. Netflix Club bets. Let's bring in my guy, Cody Zeeb, to talk about what he likes for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Hey, everyone. Thanks, Dale, for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on again. Had a lot of fun last season when I joined you guys. Super jealous that you're out there in Indy. Hope you are having a good time. Hope you have a blast on Sunday. I'm excited to talk a little F1 with you guys. If you don't know me, I'm Cody Zeeb at Husker_Zeeb on Twitter. I work for Sports Gambling Podcast Network, co-host of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast and the F1 Gambling Podcast. We talk a little bit of everything over there, IndyCar included. But on to F1. Monaco GP is this weekend. The greatest weekend in racing, the greatest day in racing on Sunday. I'm excited. You wake up with some F1, then, of course, into the Indy 500 and the cherry on top of the Coca-Cola 600 at night. But over to Monaco. This is, if you're only going to watch one F1 race this season, this is the one I suggest you to watch. I know there's times Max Verstappen can get out to these big leads and maybe ruin the race in a way. But if you're betting on it, like you probably know at this point, that usually keeps it more exciting, gives you things to watch throughout the field. So highly suggest that, of course. But this is the type of track where it's harder to get those big leads, very technical, comes down to the drivers. Small mistakes can cost guys big time, and that makes this race a lot of fun. So to jump right into the bets, I'm going to start first off with over 16.5 classified finishers. This is minus 122 over on Barstool Sportsbook. If you don't know, classified finisher just means you finish 90% of what the leader finishes or the race winner finishes in the race. So even if they go out near the end of the race, mechanical failure, wreck, as long as they complete 90% of the race, then they are considered a classified finisher. 20 cars in the field, so you just need 17 or more to finish the race. Looking back at this event in the past, last year we had 17 classified finishers, 18 in 2021. Didn't race here in 2020 because of COVID, but 2019 they had 19 classified finishers, and in 2018 also 19 classified finishers. You have to go all the way back to 2017 for the last time they didn't go over the 16.5 mark. Also, looking at this season, we're 5 races in so far, and all 5 races have been over 17 classified finishers. So I love this. This is going to be a 2-unit play for me. Over 16.5 classified finishers, minus 122 over on Barstool Sportsbook. Next up, staying at Barstool Sportsbook. If you go into the F1 section and you go down to the specials category, shout out to my co-host on the F1 Gambling Podcast, Rod Villagomez. He pointed this one out. Loved it so much that I'm going to copy him on this one. They're top 5 bet, not usually something you see in F1. Generally, it's a top 6 bet, but they are offering Carlos Sainz top 5 plus money, plus 100. This is a smash bet for me. I'm going to put 3 units on this at plus money, plus 100. You go back to his history at this track, the last 2 seasons in Ferrari car. He has been second place last year, second place in 2021. Very good finishes there. Prior to that, he was with Force India. Definitely not a powerhouse team. Still some solid results. He had a 6th place finish there in 2019, 10th and a 7th in his other two starts there. So in 5 races, been in the top 10 in all of them. Since he's been in good top equipment, got 2 straight second place finishes. All you need him to do is a top 5 at plus money. This one I love very much. So again, that's in the specials section on Barstool, plus 100 for a top 5 Carlos Sainz. Let's go with 3 units on that one. Next up for me, I didn't even realize I did this, but Barstool's got the best lines this week, so we're going to stick on Barstool Sportsbook for all of these. I'm going to take Checo Perez to win this race, plus 385. As you may know, he is Max Verstappen's teammate. It's been a Red Bull season. We're 5 races into this. Max won race 1, then Checo won, then Max won, then Checo won, then Max won. Now it's Checo's time to turn to do it again, right? Let's keep the pattern going. Checo won this race last season. He's shown all season so far he's the only person that can keep up with Max Verstappen, and he can beat him head-to-head any given week, and he's done it a few times, obviously, winning in 2 of these 5 races. And when he hasn't won, it's been great finishes. He has 1 5th-place finish. The other 4 events, it's been 1st or 2nd place in each one. He's got the good history here, like I just mentioned, and he is also very, very good on street circuit courses. That's what this is. And again, coming off the win last season. Max Verstappen, he's plus 100 to win. At some places, it can be very tempting because a lot of the time he's minus 200, minus 250. Not going to fall for the trap here. I will toss in a bonus bet, though. This isn't going to count towards the unit plays, but hashtag DGens only. Caesars has a special option with Max Verstappen to win Monaco and Scott Dixon to win the Indy 500. It's 19-1. I feel like that's a nice insurance policy to have something on Max in case he runs away and does what he likes to do sometimes. Really love Scott Dixon in the Indy 500 as well. Well, that's my bets, guys. Again, thanks, Dale, for having me on. I appreciate it. Love the show. Love all you guys' work over there at the Garage Guys. You can follow me on Twitter at Husker_Zeeb. Check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, the F1 Gambling Podcast. We did a special Indy 500 episode this week, so give that a check out. We've got Truck Series episode, Xfinity Series episode, DFS, Cup Picks. We do a recap every week. Cranking out a lot of shows. Got some articles on sportsgamblingpodcast.com as well. So give them all a check out. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Got to turn the mic back on. All right. Shout out to our good buddy Cody Zeeb with the Netflix and Yachts bets for the Monaco Grand Prix. Does a good job with Formula One. I think he's good at NASCAR. I think he's got some action on the Indy 500 as well. So we appreciate him for coming on the program once again. Hopefully, everything he gave you cashes. I don't know what it is. This has been a fucked up weekend at Dalescenter. I'll go ahead and tell you. It's been absolute chaos. Once you get here, you're just kind of in a funk of party time, of alcoholism, of chaos. That is the Indianapolis 500. Now we're talking Xfinity bets. And I said at the beginning of the show, these lines stink. They're terrible. You got Kyle Busch, you got Ty Gibbs, Justin Allgaier, kind of, I think is a surprise that he's on the pole. He looks good in 10, 15 lap averages. Ty Gibbs looks good in lap averages. Cole Custer looks good in lap averages. If you want someone out of the junior motorsports or outside of the junior motorsports brigade, outside of the Joe Gibbs Racing brigade, look at Cole Custer. You can get right now at 6.5 to 1. Not a bad bet. Look, Cole Custer absolutely is dead to us. He should be better. He should have already won by now. But his long run speed is pretty damn good according to the data. But everything fucking sucks about this because you got Kyle Busch at 3 to 1. You got Allgaier 4 to 1. You got Gibbs 3 to 1. It's the odds are terrible. We know Gibbs has been a little bit better than the junior motorsports fleet so far in 2023, but I really don't like anybody like Ty Gibbs, like John Hunter Nemechek, who's fast every single week. If there's one guy I'm looking at, I'm considering not placing yet, but I'm considering a Sammy Smith 20 to 1 bet because his teammates are fast. Historically, Charlotte is a good track for young rookie drivers. It is. And we've seen speed out of that number 18 car. Daniel Hemrick took that 18 car and dominated this race a couple years ago. Didn't win it, but 18 car with Joe Gibbs is going to be fast. If you think that Sammy's going to be as good or as fast as his teammates, think about Sammy Smith. 20 to 1, 18 to 1 may not be a bad bet. Outside of that, I'm looking at Josh Berry. We got to consider a Josh Berry bet. I think it's the best value on the board. The defending winner of this race dominated this race last year. Now, it is a different year. Like I said, Gibbs is a little bit better right now. JGR just a little bit better than Junior Motorsports. But if there's one value bet out there, look at Josh Berry. You can get at 13 to 1 right now over on Barstool Sportsbook. Great bet, I think, for an underdog outright play, as crazy as that is, crazy as that sounds. Josh Berry must be in consideration for your betting card for the Xfinity Series race. And that's really all I got for Xfinity. Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs being in this race really just fucks up everything on the betting slate. Utilize matchups, utilize some top threes, top fives over on Caesars. That might be the best chance you have to make some money and get a decent bet at plus value. So now we are going to move on to the CocaCola 600. Once again, I think it's going to be kind of chaotic. I think the lines aren't bad, but the number one thing that sticks out to me is seeing William Byron around 7 to 1, 8 to 1. The books are obsessed with Kyle Larson right now after he dominated North Wilkesboro. Yes, Larson has been dominant and fast just about everywhere this year, but particularly the short tracks. If you look at the mile and a halves, William Byron has been excellent. So I think to get him at 7-1, 7.5-1 is a good value bet. Hendrick Motorsports runs Charlotte Motor Speedway, and William Byron is dialed in. He's got the speed, he's got the experience, and he's kind of got this this right place at the right time juju. Darlington ran top 5 the whole day, but he had no fucking business winning that race. But he was in the right place at the right time and capitalized from the mistake of Ross Chastain and won that deal. So I think you got to consider William Byron. You can get plus money for a top 5. William Byron on Caesar Sportsbook right now and maybe elsewhere is like plus 110, plus 115 for a top 5 finish. I think William Byron is a great candidate to start up front. No rain or rain, he's going to start up front. And it's been a great track for Hendrick Motorsports, and William Byron has been excellent at the mile and a half in 2023. Give me William Byron for a top 5. I think that's a great place to start for the Coke 600. And then I like looking at the top Ford category, manufacturers. I think if you're going to bet anything Ford related, you've got to pin them against each other. You've got to say, hey, Joey Logano versus Ryan Blaney. I can get Ryan Blaney at plus odds over on Caesar Sportsbook right now in a head-to-head matchup. Blaney's been a little bit better at these mile and a halves, a little bit better in pure raw speed in 2023 versus Joey Logano. Give me Ryan Blaney there. If you want to bet a Ford, pin them against each other. Take matchups, find plus money in matchups, and find manufacturer bets. And I'm looking at Brad Keselowski, who has had some good mile and a half speed this year. They kind of shit the bed at Las Vegas, or it was Vegas or Kansas where they were just awful. But they've had runs where they've been running top 10, borderline top 5, and have kind of given it away because they're aggressive with strategy. Brad Keselowski is going to do the opposite of whatever the leaders are doing when strategy is involved. So that's kind of hurt them so far this year, but they've had better speed over at RFK. So you can get Brad Keselowski 5.5-1 top Ford. I like it. And then I think you should sprinkle on some underdogs, like an Austin Cindric, like a Michael McDowell, guys that have had glimpses of speed, but just have been unable to get the finishes. I think with Ford being a complete shitbox, Blaney is probably the Ford to beat, but you can't take 2.5-1 for top Ford for Ryan Blaney. I don't think it's a good bet. Ryan Blaney has had some struggles at Charlotte before. Wrecked last year. Last year's kind of an anomaly, I think, because it was such a shit show. But I think you're looking at top Ford. Take Brad K or an RFK car, and then look at Austin Cindric. Look at Michael McDowell, some guys that are sitting at 30-1, 100-1. I think there is potential for those to cash. If you're going to bet anything Ford, pin them against each other. I think that's the play if we're looking at Ford. And I've got a couple other leans that you will see later in the Tanhart Triple Crown Parlay and the Dalescenter top plays here at the end of the program. But for now, as we stay on the topic of the Coca-Cola 600, I'm going to send it to Garage Guy Chase for the weekly edition of Chase for the Cup.
Hello, I'm Chase Holden, and this is Chase for the Cup. Welcome to Chase for the Cup. Get me, Garage Guy Chase. Shout out to Hooters, by the way, for these beautiful suits that they have given Dale and I. Cannot wait to wear these out and around the town. They feel beautiful, they look beautiful, and we love Hooters. So shout out to Hooters, because you know what Hooters is for? It's for race day. And the biggest race day of the year is upon us. The greatest weekend in motorsports is finally here in the month of May. We have the Monaco GP, the Indianapolis 500, and the CocaCola 600. We're here to talk about the NASCAR Cup Series, the Coke 6. The first bet that I took this week I just thought was pretty wild. Chris Buescher at 100-1 on Caesars. I thought those odds were pretty nuts. I know that this car wrecked out. The Fords haven't been doing that well. But I kind of got a belief in RFK. I feel a little strongly about RFK this time around. The car looks clean as shit. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks great. And I really feel like we're going to see something good transpire for Chris Buescher here. Now, do I have him for a top 10? Because you're kind of been like the top 10 guy here as of late, Chase. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But I feel like you can throw a little bit of money down, and I mean a smidge, for 100-1 and have a really nice payout if he does happen to win this race. So I had to go ahead and throw a dart at that one. My other dart throw that I have for this race is going to be Austin Dillon. Now, in another time, many moons ago, in another type of race car in NASCAR, Austin Dillon found a way to get it done here. And I feel like this is one of those races, especially if it's like what we saw last year. He knows how to get through shit. Okay? You've seen it at Daytona and you've seen other tracks. The man knows how to play chess when it comes to wreckers. Okay? Checkers, wreckers, chess. He plays it. That's why I like Austin Dillon at 90-1 is what I have him at to win this race. I feel like it's a great dart throw for this one. And of course, I'm going to have some other bets for outrights after we get practice and qualifying. The one bet that I do have that I feel like is a little bit up there closer into the favorites category are just the guys that are usual suspects has to be Tyler Reddick. I love Red Dog this weekend at 15-1. The car looks beautiful. He's a great racer on intermediate tracks, and I really think that this could be the one where Tyler Reddick gets it done. And how wild would it be if he did that in a throwback UNC Michael Jordan car, the number 45 with 2311. I'm all in on Red Dog. And just to let you know, don't ever forget Red Dog because he's outside of your window with his radio. That's right. Garage Guys NFTs are back for Chase for the Cup. So now that we've got those out the way, my top 10 plays that I have for the top 10 bets. I've been a big top 10 boy this year. First one that I have on my list has to be Daniel Suarez, even money. I got this bet, and I just look at it this way. Could he wreck? Yeah. Does he have a car that's fast? Yeah. Did we see him do some really cool things last year at this race? Yeah. I don't want to miss out on it. That's why I had to roll with Danny S. So Danny S., here's Danny S. when he won at Sonoma, when he was just pouring wine in his face. He didn't really know what to do. Shout out Danny S. I really think that we can see something transpire from that. And I love the top 10 odds here just at even money, especially for a car with Trackhouse. The next one I have is one that I love, a guy that I've hit one of the biggest top 10s of my life on this year, and I'm rolling with it again because his intermediate track success has shown at Charlotte, and I think that a top 10 is very much due this weekend. It's our guy, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., a.k.a. Rip Top Ricky. I've got him at plus 250 for a top 10. I did see some stuff out there where you could have got him at like 3-1, whatever. Got him at plus 250. That's where I got him. If you already got him, great. Good job for you. Proud. The next one that I have, Chris Buescher. Just like we talked about, I have him at plus 380 for a top 10. I feel like if you're going to throw the dart at the outright, you might as well back it up with the top 10 if you really think that he has a shot. So at plus 380, I really do like that top 10 play there. So now that those are out of the way, it's time for the Gut Boy top 10. I've had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. earlier this year at Circuit of the Americas. I had Harrison Burton recently at Darlington. Okay. Don't sleep on my top 10 Gut Boys. Now, here's one that you're going to be like, whoa, Chase, you're high. So because of that, I found this picture of me and the good guy right there. That's Silent Bob. If you don't know him, Kevin, the man himself, I met him. That actually happened. This is the, wow, you're probably high bet. But you know what? I don't really think I am. And I feel a magic juju boiling around this play. Corey LaJoie, top 10 at plus 1,500. 15-1 for a top 10. You can throw a small dart at it. If it hits, it hits. Great. If it doesn't, you're not out of that much money. Sprinkle a little something on it. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on to the Dalescenter Chase for the Cup exclusive qualifying picks for the Coke 6. That rhymes. That's really cool. I like that. I like how that rhymed. I've only got 4 guys that I like for the poll this week. My poll boys include William Byron at 5-1. I've got 1 unit to win 5 units on him. Denny Hamlin at plus 650, 1 unit to win 6.5 units. I've got Ross Chastain, 10-1, half a unit to win 5 units. And the big surprise boy, maybe, maybe not, who knows, Ty Gibbs plus 2,200, 22 to 1, a quarter of a unit to win 5.5 units. Those are my poll boys for the Coke 6. You get them right here exclusively. You get them nowhere else. You're only risking 2.75 units on these plays. So go ahead and throw it down. Ride with me. Those are my guys. For the Indy 500, my long shot guy at plus 4,500, Connor Daly. Gotta love him. Just gotta throw my Indy 500 bet in there. Big milk race. All right. Shout out to Derry. That's Marcus Ericsson. He won it last year. But my real top play that I really love for the Indy 500 has to be Joseph Newgarden. I felt it boiling in my gut all year long. Got him at 14 to 1. So ride that with me if you're feeling it as well. I just feel like he's ready. I feel like he's ready to cross the bricks. It's time for him to break through the barriers. Those are my picks for the Coke 6. You got some extras with the Indy 500. As far as Monaco GP goes, I don't give a shit. I hope you all have a great day and a great weekend. For the greatest weekend in motorsports, and don't forget to go to Hooters this weekend and get you some wings to watch on race day. See you again soon.
That's Garage Guy Chase with Chase for the Cup. Gave a lot of bets. Covered the 600, not just for the race, but he's got some qualifying bets. Qualifying, probably not going to happen. It's supposed to rain all day, all night in Charlotte. I think we're going to see Monday racing. Hate it, because I'll be traveling that day, but it is what it is. He gave some Indy 500 bets as well, and that's where I want to go. I want to tell you guys everything I have for the greatest spectacle in racing, the 107th Indianapolis 500, the greatest motorsports event on planet Earth, and arguably the greatest sporting event on planet Earth. There is nothing, maybe the Super Bowl, 24-hour Le Mans, national championship in college football, the Masters, the Kentucky Derby. Those are all bucket list items. But if you're not aware of the magnitude of this event, you've got to explore attending the Indianapolis 500. It is the greatest, most fun event that I attend every single year. And I've been coming here off and on, mostly because of COVID, but primarily almost every year since 2011. First time I ever came here, I got to see fucking Paul Menard win the Brickyard. When I was a Jeff Gordon fan, he finished second. Paul Menard's only career win was the race I went to, the first time I ever came to this racetrack. And then I started coming to the 500, and it just blown away. It truly is a spectacle. It is so much fun. You can literally do anything in this town, whether you're in Speedway, whether you're in Indianapolis, and if you're at the racetrack. There's so much to do. Everybody's got to add this to their bucket list. You will have a great time if you attend the Indianapolis 500. It is a fact that it is the largest one-day sporting event on planet Earth. It's not debatable. And this weekend, just on Sunday, they're expecting 325,000 people in one place. Absolutely incredible. Let's get into the guys that we like for this event. All my bets are locked in. I don't think I'm adding any more, but we shall see. I'll start with Alex Palou. He is the favorite. 6.5 to 1, 6 to 1, I think is totally worth it for the Indy 500. He's been amazing here. Finished second in 2021. Led a lot of laps last year. Kind of faded. Finished ninth. But I think it's a guy that is absolutely the fastest car here. And a driver that is determined to win this race. He's won a championship. He continues to add to his resume. He won the Indy Grand Prix a couple weeks ago. He is a star in this sport. Alex Palou has been knocking on the door of winning this race. And rightfully so, he is the favorite to win the Indy 500. So I've got money on Alex Palou. And then I'm looking at Pato O'Ward. Now, yeah, you're going to say, oh, you're betting the favorites. You're betting the favorites. Well, I locked in Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward before practice started. These guys have been the two guys that have been knocking on the door the last couple years in the Indianapolis 500. Pato O'Ward finished second in this race last year. He was amazing. Just got outdueled at the end by Marcus Ericsson. Appreciate you guys. Yep. But the guy's been a monster. He's been a juggernaut at this racetrack the last couple of years. Pato O'Ward is another guy that is due for a win. in this race, and he's an exceptional oval racer. There's probably like 3 or 4 times he could have won in 2023, and he still hasn't won yet, but he's been knocking on the door, not just to win the Indy 500, but he's been knocking on the door of winning in 2023. And on ovals, he's in particular phenomenal. And then I'm looking at Takuma Sato. I think I looked at Barstool Sportsbook this morning, and you could get Sato at 11-1. That might be as low as I will go. Now, I got a ticket on Sato at 20-1. Of course, that's fallen. He was fastest in practice on Friday. He's in a Ganassi car. Everybody's hammering him. He is checkers or records, but he is so good at this race. You've got to consider Takuma Sato. I think I would take 10-1 or 11-1 for Takuma Sato to win the Indy 500, but that's about as low as I would go because there's a high risk when betting on this guy because he is truly checkers or records, balls of steel, probably the gutsiest driver in the universe right now, and that's Takuma Sato. So got to consider a bet on him in a very fast Ganassi car. And then I'm going to shift gears to Arrow McLaren. We know Arrow McLaren is super fast. Pato O'Ward drives an Arrow McLaren. He's been amazing all year and in this race. Alexander Rossi, who carried Andretti for the last 5 years, while all their other cars struggled, Alexander Rossi was finding ways to be competitive, run top 5, contend for wins, except for the last couple years, which he had some random problems. Probably would have run top 5, top 10 in at least one of the last 2 years. But Alexander Rossi, I think, is going to be a factor. He is a phenomenal Indianapolis Motor Speedway racer, and now you pair him with one of the fastest cars in the town in Arrow McLaren. It's a match made in heaven. Give me Alexander Rossi. Right now, you can get him still 13-1, 14-1, and get the top 5 at plus 180. To get a top 5 on Alexander Rossi at plus 180, I think is an awesome bet. And Barstool Sportsbook right now actually has an exclusive bet that they've never done before for the Indy 500. You can get Rossi for a top 10 at minus 139. I love that bet. If there's a top 10 bet that I like, it's Rossi at minus 139. You're not paying too much juice, and you're getting a guy that has 4 top 5s and 7 Indianapolis 500 starts and 5 top 10s. If you look at percentages, he's going to score top 10 if he doesn't crash or have some kind of random issue. He's in a rocket ship. Consider Alexander Rossi for any type of action you can find on any sports book that you have available to your disposal. So I love Alexander Rossi. And then my long shot plays are going to be Connor Daly at 50-1. You can find 50-1. You can find 40-1. I think his car is going to be good in race trim. And then I got Benjamin Peterson, who's in an AJ Foyt race car, the best qualifying rookie since 1996, I think, with Tony Stewart. Benjamin Peterson's in a rocket ship of a race car. His teammate Santino Ferrucci has been really fast as well. I think you got to consider the Foyt guys, but you can get Benjamin Peterson at 80-1. Maybe the Foyt team's going to be real aggressive. They haven't won an Indy 500, I think, since Kenny Breck in 1999. Consider the Foyt team. Consider Benjamin Peterson, 80-1, a rookie juju. Maybe they get aggressive and they gamble on fuel strategy. If they get aggressive, we're kind of due for a fuel mileage race. We're kind of due for a 2016 Alexander Rossi style win. 2011 was J.R. Hildebrand, but he crashed, but would have won that race on fuel mileage. So we're kind of due for a fuel mileage event. In that case, consider guys like Connor Daly, Benjamin Peterson, who have good race cars that can be competitive, but have team owners and crew guys that are probably going to be more aggressive on strategy to create track position. So those are my bets. I got one more bet that I'm going to tell you about in Dalescenter Top Plays, but right now I want to turn it to our good friend of the program, RotoDoc, Nick Giffin, great IndyCar bettor. Had one of the betting slips of the year on Kyle Kirkwood at Laguna Seca a couple weeks ago. He's the Kyle Kirkwood #1 fan, and he is an excellent IndyCar, NASCAR handicapper. So here is RotoDoc.
What's up, everybody? I am Nick Giffin, a.k.a. RotoDoc on Twitter from Action Network, predictive analyst at Action Network. And I'm here to give you my favorite IndyCar bets for this Sunday's 107th running of the Indianapolis 500. my favorite race in the world, the biggest race in the world. Dale is going to be at the race, hanging out in turn 3, so I know he's excited for it. He's asked me to give you some of my favorite bets, so that's what I'm going to do. So without further ado, let's dive into my first favorite bet. And yes, I am eating the chalk at the Indy 500. Give me a big bowl of, the driveway chalk, because I'm eating all of it. I'm going with Alex Palou at 6-1. Shop around. You may be able to find better than 6-1, but if 6-1 is all you have, I still like that. I actually took Palou 11-1 back in April when we had the Indy Open test, and he was actually just like beaming about his car. He was so happy. They nailed it right off of off the truck back in April. Well, now we've had 2 weeks in May for these teams to continue to improve their cars, and he's only gotten better. And I'm not just talking about the fact that he did qualify on pole, which is nice, but it's not super useful. He just looks amazing in traffic. And when I'm handicapping the Indy 500, I want drivers that are happy with their cars. They're talking positive things. They're making moves through traffic. So I'm not really looking at practice times specifically, especially not single lap times. But I will look occasionally, Peacock or NBC, depending on where the broadcast is during the month of May, will occasionally show some longer run times. And Alex Palou is always at the top of the board after qualifying on Sunday when he won the pole. They had a Monday practice session where they were back working on race setup, and Alex Palou had the best 10-lap average. I'm not going to, use that as a big data point there, but because I much would rather prefer listening to what a driver says, seeing what they do on the track, how they're handling traffic and all that. But Alex Palou looks like the real deal this week. And it is kind of a little bit almost like handicapping the ponies, the horses there. But Alex Palou looks like the real deal. He's super happy. He's super fast. So I like betting him at 6-1. If you want to put a unit on it, I definitely don't mind that. For my next favorite bet, I am going to go with Brian Hunter-Reay to be the top Chevy finisher at 30-1. Ryan Hunter-Reay is a former IndyCar Series champion. He's a former Indy 500 winner, and now he returns to the Indy 500 with Dreyer Reinbold Racing. Dreyer Reinbold Racing has had very good results at the Indy 500 over the years. They are literally set up just to focus on this one race per year. This is a one-off entry, and now he has teammate. It was going to be Steph Wilson. Unfortunately, Steph broke his back, but now he gets his good buddy and longtime Honda driver stepping into that Chevy, Graham Rahal, to give him extra feedback. I think this is going to be a formidable duo. Ryan Hunter-Reay really liked his car. He looked great in practice all month of May long, and he can make moves. And the other reason I like this top Chevy bet at 30-1 is because some of the other top Chevys, I believe, have struggled a little bit. Joseph Newgarden has complained on multiple race practice days that his car hasn't been where he wants it to be. The very first day of practice was Wednesday of last week. He was pretty happy with the car, but then Thursday, they were still practicing race setup, and it was warmer, and he said the car kind of went away. He's not really sure why. He was a little puzzled. There's kind of a funny picture of him like looking really puzzled. And the key note there was it was warmer, and they struggled. Well, fast forward to Monday, it was that similar warmer temperature, and he was still saying they got way too much understeer, not great in traffic, etc. Very much a red flag because race day is forecast to be even warmer. So the fact that it's going the wrong way as the temperatures increase, and now we're going to be arguably at the hottest day, at least forecast, of the month in terms of race temperatures, that is concerning for me. So I'm a little concerned about Joseph Newgarden. I'm a little concerned about Pato O'Ward. He said on Monday practice, again, in race setup after qualifying, the car was just totally inconsistent from run to run. I don't like to hear that over a 500-mile race. You don't want the car to be inconsistent. That'll set you back at some point, and it is very hard to recover. Now, maybe they get 500 miles is enough to figure that all out, but enough red flags with some of the top Chevy names that opens value down the board, and I really like Ryan Hunter-Reay to finish as the top Chevy at 30-1. I've put a quarter unit on that. Finally, for my last Indy 500 bet, I think you should choose between Santino Ferrucci at 20-1 or my guy Kyle Kirkwood at 30-1 to win. I think I probably prefer Kyle Kirkwood just because I prefer the reliability of the Andretti Autosports more than I prefer the reliability of the Foyt cars. Plus, the Foyt pit stops tend to be a little bit slower. So I think I prefer Kyle, especially just because it's a longer number, and he was so happy with his race car. He absolutely loves his race car, how it performs in the draft, in the slipstream, but so does Santino Ferrucci. And the thing I really like about Santino Ferrucci is he gets to go for it this year. He's been in one-off rides or part-time rides for his previous Indy 500s. I think he's only been in one full-time ride before. He said because he's in a full-time ride now, that gives him the opportunity to send it. He doesn't have to worry about, blowing an opportunity, blowing a potential opportunity. He can send it. He can go for it. And he loves his car. That Monday practice, Santino Ferrucci was so happy. He was beaming. Again, I use that word with Alex Palou. I almost said Alex Bowman. Alex Palou. But Santino Ferrucci was beaming. He was so happy. He's the happiest he's been. He could just pass everybody. He said he could pass a line of 6, 7, 8 cars. And now he's starting towards the front. He's never started better than 15th before, but he's always finished inside the top 10 in all 4 of his Indy 500 starts. Well, now he's starting 4th. So imagine if he moves forward like he's done in all of his other Indy 500 starts. So I'd pick one of Ferrucci or Kyle Kirkwood, or just play them both because you have enough room in the card there. But those are my other favorite bets. I personally got Kyle Kirkwood 50-1 back preseason before, when Indy 500 lines were open in the preseason. So I'm not taking the 30 myself just because I already have the 50. But if you don't have the 50, I still don't mind 30, and I don't mind 20-1 on Santino Ferrucci. So those are my best bets for the Indy 500. For all of my work, I'll have some articles out at the Action Network, actionnetwork.com. You can check me out at Nick_Giffin in the Action Network app to track all of my NASCAR bets. And then to tail all my NASCAR bets, follow them. And I'll have articles all weekend, like I said, at actionnetwork.com with some various things. So appreciate you, Dale, for letting me talk Indy 500 bets. Good luck, everybody, and enjoy the best day in motorsports.
All right, that's a good friend, Nick Giffin over at Action Network, a.k.a. the Roto Doc, with his Indy 500 bets. Guy's an excellent IndyCar handicapper, and it is an asset to have him on this program every now and then. Big IndyCar guy. Loves Kyle Kirkwood. We've been through this. Now let's talk about the Tan Hart Triple Crown Parlay. Look, if you watch this program, you still have time to get me a Triple Crown Parlay. And remember, all you got to do is go to the tweet pinned on my account, on my profile, and reply to that tweet with your parlay. And if your parlay hits, you will receive a Garage Guys / Hooters gift package from me, courtesy of me and our good friends at Hooters. You'll receive the gift package if your parlay that you tweet at me with hits. And it's got to be a 3-legger, and it's got to be minimum 7-1. And that's where my parlay is, right around that 7-1 mark. Alex Palou, top 5. You can get that at plus money on Barstool Sportsbook. Chandler Smith over Sheldon Creed. Now, I don't know if I'm going to bet this straight up because I just hate the board in Xfinity. But Sheldon Creed, he's one of my good friends, great friend of the program. He's a boom or bust guy. He is a boom or bust guy. And Chandler Smith, I think overall has had better mile-and-a-half speed so far in 2023. Give me Chandler Smith and the Xfinity Series race. And then a William Byron top 5, also plus money over on Barstool Sportsbook. $100 on this parlay would win $724 if it cashed. And I think it has a very good shot of cashing. I like all 3 of these bets, and I can't wait to see if you guys cash your parlays and receive a Garage Guys Hooters gift package over on Twitter. So I appreciate you guys. And now we move to the final segment. Look, you're just going to see the top plays, and I'm just going to talk about it. We got no scrolling tickers this time. A little bit different since we're not live. It's been an absolute shit show here in Indianapolis. It's the greatest shit show in racing, the greatest shit show in the world, as well as the greatest spectacle in racing. That is the Indianapolis 500. We're having a great time. So let's get into the Dalescenter top plays. Number 5 for the Dalescenter top plays. I love Bubba Wallace. Love Bubba Wallace this weekend for the CocaCola 600. 20-1 outright, 13-1 to win the pole. Top Toyota plus 500. This guy's arguably been the best Toyota at mile-and-a-half this year. I know Kansas, Denny had the rocket ship. Vegas, I think Bubba was the top Toyota. There may have been somebody like Denny or Truex that was a little bit better. But Bubba Wallace, Booty Barker's got him dialed in right now. They are securing excellent finishes everywhere right now. They're on an amazing stretch of good finishes. And when you look at what 23XI's done, Bubba Wallace has been superior a mile and a half compared to his teammate Tyler Reddick, which a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected. But when you go back and look at Kansas, Bubba Wallace had an awesome race car. I think there's data from Kansas, there's data from Vegas, Fontana that's going to translate to this Coca-Cola 600 on Sunday night, probably going to be Monday. But when you consider that and the momentum factor here, I absolutely love Bubba Wallace. Some outright action. Not a hammer time bet, but be sure to put some sprinkles. I think Bubba to win the pole, to win the race, and to be the top Toyota is all worth something. It's all worth something, and you can grab these lines over on Caesars Sportsbook, I believe. DraftKings and Caesars. I think 20-1 is actually available on Barstool as well as DraftKings. Not for sure on that, but DraftKings is where I'm locking in Bubba Wallace 20-1. And then the top Toyota is over on Caesars at 5-1. That's Dalescenter top play number 5. Top play number 4. This is I mentioned it earlier in the program. This is our shot in the dark right here. Uh-oh. Did I lose something? What happened? It's all good. We're still good. Battery saver turned on. We're going to have to wrap this up soon. Top play number 4. Talked about it earlier. 3 plays for top Ford. If you're going to bet anything Ford, pin them against each other. The play that just missed the cut, Blaney over Logano at plus money. I like that bet. But I love Brad K top Ford, Austin Cindric top Ford, Michael McDowell top Ford. Right now, you can get Cindric top Ford at 30-1 over on BetMGM and McDowell top Ford 100-1 on BetMGM. That's the best value you can find. Once again, BetMGM consistently is the best on giving us manufacturer odds. So I like those plays. Brad K, much improved RFK program. Better at the mile and a half, substantially better at the mile and a half than he was last year. Give me Brad K plus 525. Good value bet. And that one is over on Caesars. So that's my shot in the dark for the 600. Always got to have something spicy. And that is a long shot play. Brad K's not a long shot. Other guys are. Either way, I like it. Bet on all 3 of them, but nothing crazy. Dalescenter top play number 3. That is an Alexander Rossi outright 13-1 top 5 plus 180. I think Rossi's going to be a menace. He's an excellent Indianapolis racer. 5 top 10s and 7 starts, 4 top 5s and 7 starts, and 1 win. He's knocked on the door of wins. This is the place where it could all come together for him and Aaron McLaren after his Andretti departure. He's in a rocket ship. Play Alexander Rossi this weekend for the Indy 500. Easily one of my favorite plays. Dalescenter top play number 2. The only thing I like in the Xfinity Series is Josh Berry, defending winner of this race. 2 mile-and-a-half starts in 2023. 2 top 5s at Vegas and Fontana. Looks like Junior Motorsports is a little bit better this weekend than we've seen throughout the course of 2023. Watch out for Josh Berry. For them to give us 13-1 on him is insane. He never practices well. He never usually qualifies super well, but he always races well. Give me Josh Berry 13-1, plus 340 for a top 3, and plus 170 for a top 5. All good bets for the Xfinity Series race at Charlotte. Top play number 1, I mentioned him, but I didn't give this play, and this is a newer play because Barstool Sportsbook unloaded some awesome variety for IndyCar bets. You can bet on so many different things. It's the most options I've ever seen for any IndyCar race ever since I've been sports betting, and that is Alex Palou top 5 at plus money. For comparison, DraftKings is giving Alex Palou at like minus 150. Caesars minus 150. Barstool's giving us plus money on every driver in the field for a top 5. That's where I got Rossi plus 180, and now I'm locking in Alex Palou plus 105 for a top 5. That's the max play of the weekend, guys. Alex Palou is going to be a force this weekend. I think he's got the best car in the field. To get plus money for this fucking guy is out of this world. It's amazing. So I love that. Those are my top plays of the weekend. Look, I know this has been a fucked up Dalescenter episode. Unfortunately, lack of resources being in Indy. Indy's a shit show. It's too much fun. You get distracted by everything. This is what we got, and I hope you enjoy the program. We profited in trucks last night. I think we're going to have a very profitable weekend. Historically, has been a good weekend for me as the greatest NASCAR bettor in the universe. And we start our campaign this weekend to become the greatest IndyCar bettor in the history of the universe as well. Alex Blow top 5 is the max play of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's going to do it for Dalescenter. I appreciate you guys all being with me here, right outside of Indianapolis Motor Speedway here on Georgetown, just outside of Main Street. It's an awesome weekend. Greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. Monaco, a.k.a. Netflix and Yachts. And then the cherry on top, the CocaCola 600 this weekend on Sunday. It's going to be a hell of a time. I hope everybody enjoys Memorial Day weekend and wins some big fucking money. Let's do it. Now I never fucking, how do I turn this shit off? How do I turn this shit off, people? I can't see a damn thing. I can't see a damn thing. All right, that's it. Appreciate you guys.